Welcome to Kippy C Math! Today we're going to find what tens the number is between. Kind of like this doggy is squished between the wall and the couch. Oh my goodness, and so is her friend. They're adorable. Between means being in the space, separating one thing and another. Like that dog was between the wall and the couch. A hamburger is between the buns. It's in the space between the buns. Winter break is between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. It's in the space from Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day. A football goes between the uprights to score a field goal. It's in the space between the two uprights. So if we say we want a number between 0 and 10, that means we want it in the space where 0 is on the number line and 10 is on the number line. We want it in here, this space between. Here's the key, is that the numbers after the 0 here and before the 10 here, those numbers are bigger than 0 and less than 10. The numbers between are bigger than the bottom number, and they are smaller than the top number, because the way the number line works is it gets bigger as it goes this way. So really when we say give a number between 0 and 10, we mean give a number bigger than 0 and less than 10. And you could say any of the numbers. What number do you think is bigger than 0 but less than 10? It's between 0 and 10. Great. You could have said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Any of those numbers work. Any of those numbers are between 0 and 10. If I ask what tens is 34 between, that's asking me what number goes here and what number goes here with 34 in the middle, with 34 somewhere bigger than one number and less than number in the space between, right? And it asks specifically about tens. So we could make a number line, skip counting by tens to kind of figure that out. We could say, well, we've got 0, 10, 20, 30. Now I hear 30 and my number's 34. So something's really sticking with me there. I'm going to underline this one. 30, 40, 50, 60. I could keep going, but I've already passed 34. I'm already bigger than 34. It's between 30 and 40. In here is 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 34 is between 30 and 40. That means it's bigger than 30 and it's less than 40. This is really important if we want to estimate, if we want to see what a number is kind of close to, but not exactly, right? Like if I only had $10 bills in my pocket and I wanted to pay $34, then I might choose $30 or $40 to be close to that amount. So that's why we like to know what tens it's between. It was pretty easy to do this problem because we skip counted, but if we're trying to get to an even bigger number, like what tens is 134 between, it starts to get really tedious, right? Because I'm going to need to count all the way up. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up till I get, near this number, right? To figure out what it's between. Don't get tricked. It's not between 30 and 40, even though this has a 30 inside. 134 is way bigger than 30 and 40. It's not in this space. It's way farther down the number line. So it helps to know how many tens are in 134 in the first place. Then we could figure out the first 10 and the next 10 on the number line near it. Or imagine you're trying to find out about an even bigger number with a different place value. It can get really complicated, and we're going to want to have a really systematic step-by-step way to go about it. So let's talk to a special guest. Hello!
Hi, Miss Ramish. How are you? I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Introduce yourself.
I am Mr. Rodriguez. I'm one of the vice principals at Spring Academy.
Awesome. Mr. Rodriguez, today we're trying to figure out the question, what 10,000s is 238,417 between? Whew! That's a big
That's a really good question, Miss Ramish. I think I can help you out.
Awesome.
So, the very first thing you want to do anytime you're coming across a question like this is take your number and put it into a place value chart right away. Go ahead and start off with your ones, and we go all the way up to our 100,000s in this example.
Okay. I'm writing it. I got it.
Perfect, right? So we have a 7 in our ones, a 1 in our tens place, a 4 in our hundreds, an 8 in our thousands, a 3 in our 10,000s, and then a 2 in our 100,000s.
Perfect. Got it.
Perfect. Now, when we ask the question, what 10,000s is this number going to be in between? Your eyes are going to go straight to the 10,000s place value. And it says 3, easy peasy, done. No, right? That's going to be the trick answer. That's not what you want to do. When we go ahead and we look at this, we want to ask ourselves, what 10,000s in between? We see our 2 in the 100,000s place, and we know that we can't just leave it there. We have to go ahead and ask ourselves, how many 10,000s is in that 200,000s? We know that if we go ahead, we bring that place value over, and there's actually going to be 20 10,000s in 200,000s. So our 20 10,000s plus our 3,000s is going to give us 23 10,000s.
Awesome.
So
I'm going to fill in all these other places with zeros underneath.
That makes so much sense. That's exactly what you should do.
Okay, great.
So we go ahead, we realize that we have 23 10,000s, which actually just equals 230,000. And that's going to be the lower part of our number line.
Okay, got it.
And then to figure out what the higher part of our number line or the upper part of our number line is going to be, it's just a 10,000 up. So instead of 23 10,000s in the lower part, it's going to be 24 10,000s in the higher part, which really just equals 240,000.
Awesome. Let me write that down. 240,000. Awesome. So we know our number is somewhere in between here. We're not sure where, but it's somewhere in between 230,000 and 240,000. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Let's do what Mr. Rodriguez taught us one more time. The key is always that place value chart. I'm going to take my number, put it in the chart. This time I see my number goes up to 10,000s, but they want to know what hundreds it's between. We can underline that hundreds place, or we can rewrite our place value chart to just have hundreds inside. That's how I like to do the same idea that Mr. Rodriguez mentioned. Now I see my number has 162 hundredths. That's tricky. That's a weird way to kind of think of it. We don't always talk about numbers that way with those hidden hundreds inside. I can say my number is between 162 hundredths. What's the next hundred? 162? And 163 is the next hundred up, because 162, 163. Now let's think how we write 162 hundredths. It's just like Mr. Rodriguez said, we almost imagine these becoming zeros. We get 16,200. That's 162 hundredths. What's the next number? If we know it's 162 hundredths and 163 hundredths, this would be 16,200, and up from 16,200 would be 16,300. So if I'm imagining a number line, 16,200 was down here, 16,300 was up here, we know my number would be somewhere here in the middle of those two. Yay for your super brain! Right now, this dancing super brain is between Bruno and Bruno's twin, Bruno.